We are going to call the February 6th meeting of the Amery City Council to order. Fran, do you want to do the roll call?
Certainly. Myers.
Here.
Erickson.
Here.
Rogers.
Here.
Bruschak.
Here.
Strohmeyer. Strohbush.
Strohbush is here.
And Malarka.
Here. I'm combining a couple of names there. Okay, we're going to stand up and I'm going to ask our police chief to lead us in the pledge.
All right. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Tom.
Not quite like Beyonce, but it's...
Yeah, not quite.
Included in your board packet are the minutes from our January 2nd meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Chris, second.
Second.
Okay, any corrections or additions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They are approved. Upcoming events, we have Gloria Bauer here from St. Joseph's Catholic Church.
Good evening. Would like to tell you about the World Day of Prayer that is coming to Amery. St. Joseph Church will be the hosting church this year. It's going to be on Saturday, March 2nd at 9:30 in the morning. We're inviting all the folks from the churches, surrounding churches, and we have ladies from each of the churches participating in the program. The program is titled, "I Was a Stranger and You Welcomed Me," and it was written by the women of France.
Any questions
Thank
for Gloria? And that is on Saturday, March 2nd, 9:30 at St. Joseph.
Correct. Thank you.
Thank you, Gloria.
Thank you.
On this Friday, I think you have the flyer, Larry, for the coffee. On Friday, February 8th, Darcy and I will be at the Bremer Bank from 10 to 11:30 to have coffee and cookies with people from the community that have any easy questions for us to answer. The hard ones we got to wait on, but hopefully we'll have a good turnout. We're going to be at the Bremer Bank Friday, February 8th, 10 to 11:30.
As long as they don't talk about geese and sidewalks, we'll be all right. Yeah, we'll be all right.
Is there anyone else here for any upcoming events? I have a couple. On Saturday, February 23rd, the Amery Lions Club will be hosting their second annual ice fishing contest on Pike Lake. So if anyone's interested, there are flyers throughout the community with the details on that event. As Darcy jokingly mentioned, we do have a public meeting coming up on February 21st at
6:30.
6:30 p.m.
If it's for the geese, it's at 6:30.
It's for the geese. We're going to be talking about hunting geese inside the city limits. And that public meeting will be held right here.
Yes. There's a guest speaker from the Cumberland office who will give us an outline for our plan.
For dealing with the residential geese population, yep.
Mr. Mayor, I have a public or a coming event.
Okay.
The Amery High School Drama Club Department is doing Anne of Green Gables on March 1, 2, and 3. Friday night and Saturday night at 7, I believe, and Sunday at 2.
Thank you. I know also that the community club has their monthly meeting on Monday, February 11th at the Shoreview at 5:30, and they will have a guest business speaker, Stephen DeWalt. He's Director of Small Business Development Center at the University of Wisconsin River Falls, and that's 5:30 Monday, the 11th at the Shoreview.
Mr. Mayor, I might also comment on a community club event. On their website this past week posted summer activities, and there are 3 outstanding music in the park concerts scheduled, one in the month of June, the month of July, and the month of August. And so that, certainly with our snowy days present and ahead of us, we can dream of sitting out in our lawn chairs in Michael Park and listening to some delightful music.
Anything else? I do have a reminder for the gentlemen in the audience. Valentine's Day is coming up. Is it the 14th? February 14th?
Of course.
Okay. February 14th. You may want to mark that down on your calendars. Anything else? Okay. Officers' report. We're going to start with Bones. Again.
I knew you were gonna do that, have mouthful. Usually do.
Yeah, I know, and I usually unload it on you, excuse me. Good evening, members of the council, Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen. Not too much going on. As you can see, it snowed again today, so we're out pushing snow. I want to remind everybody to keep their sidewalks shoveled. Also had a call about the sidewalks that Mr. Riley does, and I talked to Dwayne, because usually when he's traveling someplace, he's got his blower down, and some people think it's unfair that he does some private sidewalks, so he's going to avoid doing that. So if you've got your sidewalk blown in the past by Mr. Riley, it'll probably cease to happen. That's what happens when somebody calls and complains to us. The guy's been doing a little remodeling here at the City Hall, the bathroom. As the audience can probably tell, that they can't use the bathroom tonight.
It only affects one person.
Also, I've been working on the
You're the only one in the
HVAC
audience.
system at the Centennial Hall. They seem very satisfied. She said it's warmer in there than it's ever been. We've had some issues with the refrigerator, which we've taken care of. Also, the heating units at City Shop, we've been working on those as well. And the equipment. Other than that, been trying to do a lot of indoor work. Got a few projects that we're going to be getting started with. We're going to be doing that trailer that we got to put together for the winter carnival or winter parade, Christmas parade. That's it. That project will be starting here in the next month or so. Other than that, not too much else happening.
Any questions for Bones?
Also, before I get done, I want to remind people, I've had a few calls on sewers freezing up from the house to the street. That is the homeowner's responsibility. They think that it's ours, but it's not. So what I'm advising people, if they notice that their sewers are starting to back up a little bit or run slow, and they know that their drains are clean, and they've had a rotor-rooter in there. One person in particular said they had a rotor-rooter here not too long ago, so I know it's clean, but they were getting freezing. So they might want to contact Linda at City Hall if they're in that situation. And then we've had a couple of services break, so just if you notice changes in your water, like rusty water or something like that, it's a good indicator that something might be going on. And if you do see that, just give us a call. We can come over and look and maybe give you some advice.
Thanks, Bones.
Thank you.
Library, James Nayland.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. The first thing I want to talk about today is tax forms, which is, we've been receiving a tremendous number of calls and people coming in over the last month looking for tax forms, and we do have all of the Wisconsin state forms available at the library. Most of the federal forms are in. What is not in are the 1040 and 1040A instruction books. The federal government has not printed those yet, or they're in the process of being printed now, but they don't have a shipment date for those. So Dave, you still have a little bit of time
Appreciate that.
to get your books. And the instruction books are available online at the IRS website, which is www.irs.gov. And the IRS is telling us we should be referring people to their website in the meantime. So, but we do have all the other forms, and we don't mind people calling and checking and seeing what we have available. So, just a couple of upcoming programs, or we had several programs today. We probably had close to 200 kids in the building for the frog program and story time this morning, so it's pretty successful. We had some frogs FedExed overnight to the library as part of this program. So they
Live frogs?
yeah, they came out live when they finally did come out. The first thing they saw was a room full of screaming kids, so tough being them.
If you throw a frog in the air that's 20 below, does it freeze?
Just a couple other things coming up. We have, we're continuing our classic movie series on Saturdays. The next one is this Saturday, February 9th. It's The Last Unicorn at 10 o'clock. And February 23rd, Saturday, February 23rd, 10 o'clock, we're showing E.T. And then March 2nd, which is also a Saturday at 10 o'clock, we'll be having Dr. Seuss's birthday party. So we're going to have different crafts, games, and activities are related to Dr. Seuss. And that's all I have.
Any questions for James? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
How well attended was your downloading books seminar, besides Dave?
The first one, the general one, we
There were
had.
a good crowd.
Were you there? You were there? I was
The first
there,
one.
so the first one, I
No.
think there were 14
I was at
people,
the second.
and the iPad one, maybe 12 people. So we'll do it again.
Good.
Set up some dates.
Thank you, James. Police chief.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Tom.
I see that the annual report was in the police chief section, but it didn't get moved.
The annual report was in there?
Yes. So I will pass that all. I think I got enough for everybody here.
Killed some trees? We'll put this online too.
Well, these were actually for to put down there, but then I realized that it didn't
We'll
get put
post it
there.
there.
And then I tried to open it under my police chief thing, and it wouldn't open under here, so there must be some iPad compatibility, because at the office it did come up, so.
We'll try to figure out, put it online so
Yeah.
people can look it up, yeah.
Good evening. I presented to the council and the media the activity reports for January of 2013, along with the 2012 annual report. In there, it's a little bit different than we have in years past. We wanted to provide a little different format, and we strive to give the best information to the community that we can. This report includes our yearly comparisons, 5-year traffic statistics, 2012 crime statistics, along with a bit of other pertinent information. It was just 10 years ago today that I stood up here for my first time. I have little or no gray hair. Bones continues to increase in his gray hair. And Darrell was acting like an overgrown teenager. So I guess that says for, the three of us here right now. But as the chief of police, I believe the thing I'm most proud of is our employees. Their hard work and sacrifice to meet the difficult challenges does not diminish their commitment to treat people with respect and dignity, even in the worst of circumstances. Our department consists of myself, 5 full-time officers, 5 part-time officers, and is complemented by 1 full-time office staff and 1 part-time. A few highlights in 2012 was we replaced 2 squads. We had budgeted for a speed board that I believe is still sitting in Bones's shop down there, that hopefully this spring we'll get up there. And with Darcy's help, he had noticed a mobile one that we were able to purchase this summer, and we got that out there. One of the other things that we started in 2012 and continue into 2013 is a complete review and update of our police department policy manual, and hope at the end of that we'll be able to become an accredited law enforcement agency in the state of Wisconsin. Just a couple little things inside there I wanted to highlight there is that we drove approximately 68,000 miles on our squad cars in 2012. We handled a little over 2,700 incidents, complaints, and calls for service. That's up close to 900 over 2011. Our total traffic citations was 821. That was up from 630 in 2011. On the crime statistics there, our arrests in 2012 were 165. That was up from 122 in 2011. Our disorderly conducts were up in 2012 to 83, and there were 70 in 2011. Our drug violations seen a big increase. 2012 we had 17, and in 2011 we had 10. Two of the things that really hit home are that our thefts went down. In 2012 we had 59, and in 2011 we had 161. So that decreased significantly, along with the property damage complaints. In 2012 was 14, and 2011 was 19. That's all I have, unless there's any questions.
Very nice report, Tom.
I have a couple questions.
Certainly.
What do you attribute the large increase in the number of incidents or complaints to? Is that something that you didn't report before, or is it? Was it just a aberration for the year?
It was up. One thing that we started 3 years ago was calls for service. Prior to that, we basically did incidents. So that might have attributed some for that, but we were busier in 2012.
So some of the calls for service may not have been recaptured.
Right,
in
correct,
previous-
yes.
And then the insurance violations, is that people that have no insurance?
Correct, yes.
Versus them that
Correct.
have their cards at home or something like that?
That's a combination of both, either failure to provide the insurance or not to have insurance, so. And that's a relatively new violation, so that's why there wasn't any in the years past there, so.
Is that the same violation? I mean, it's forfeiture wise?
No, if you get stopped and are issued for failure to carry, it's a $10 citation there, and if you don't have insurance, it's, I don't know, it's $100 and some. Our officers will generally try to confirm whether they have insurance or not. Some of our officers will even make calls to, okay, now I have it at this agency or this State Farm or something like that. They will make that call just to try to verify that before they write a citation.
Good job.
Other
Anything else?
questions? Other questions for Tom?
Thank you.
Thank you. Very nice report. Our fire chief, Darrell Christensen.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, and media. Provided the council with the Amery Fire and Rescue January 2013 incident report. You can see January is off to a busy start for 2013 with 44 total calls. 12 of those being fire and 32 falling under our first responder or EMS response. Busy month for vehicle accidents, both with fire and first responders. That time of the year for alarms. One mutual aid call with Garfield Fire, and we had a very significant rescue that something we don't do very often. A lumberjack dropped a tree on himself about a little over a mile back in the woods. It wasn't easy to get to. It took about an hour to get him out of there. Had to have a helicopter land, so it was an interesting call. Not much else going on for the month of January. At the end of last year, we got the approval to go ahead and order a new engine for the fire department. We're going to be replacing engine 2, which is hit 30 years old last year. The chassis, which is a Kenworth chassis, will be into Custom Fire in Osceola. If it didn't come today, it'll be there tomorrow. Myself and a few of the other officers are going over there on Monday to meet with the builder one final time to go over the specs and make sure everything is ready to go before they start building the body onto the chassis. So excited about that. It'll be a new truck sometime this summer. As Bowen said, we got a little more snow today. We've been getting a little bit here and there. I noticed today after the snow plows went by, some of the hydrants are getting to be up to the outlets on the hydrant. So I would ask if you have a hydrant in front of your house or close to your house, if you would please shovel around it, keep it clean so that in the event that we do get called, the hydrant will be easy to find and easy to hook up to. Haven't heard any cases yet this year, but we haven't had a lot of snow. But I know last year there was several cases in the Twin Cities area, mostly where fire attack was delayed because the fire hydrants were buried and they couldn't find them. So that's it.
Thank you. Any questions for Darrell? Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
Our city administrator, Darcy Long.
Well, as I kind of do every February, is I like to highlight and let everybody know that the new Polk County guides are out and that are available. We have a few here at City Hall, and I think there were a few at the library, not very many, but we'll be getting more of them. But one to kind of just in the center, if you to throw the thing on the ground, it'll probably open up to the middle, and that's where the Amery ad is this year. And it's a little different design this year, and a little different layout, we try to change it up every couple of years, and we'll probably change it again as we begin our project doing the logos. So I'll pass this around to the city council if they're not seeing that. And speaking of logos, one of the things that we've put in the 2013 budget is to work on updating the logo. And the logo that we're talking about is the sailboat one there, and the website and tourism committee, which is kind of mainly does things with promotions for tourism, is working with our council member Jack Rogers, who does graphic design, to come up with a logo. And part of that process, we've come up with a survey that we're going to be surveying the community. And the survey is designed to try to get a sense of why people live here in Amery. One of the things that we talked about in our last two meetings is trying to design a logo that kind of fits Amery and kind of, when you see it, you identify Amery, Wisconsin. As well as we're trying to get probably a little direction, I guess you could say, from the public in order to kind of direct us in our logo development. So those of you who get the Amery Free Press, there will be a survey. I'm not sure what color is going to be because it's being printed right now, but there'll be a colored survey in there, and there's some directions on there of what you're supposed to do. They will be in the Free Press next week. Once you complete them, you can drop them off at City Hall or at the Amery Free Press. They'll also be available online on the website. If you go down to the third box, there'll be a sailboat logo there, and you click on that, and it'll take you to the survey. And when you complete that, it'll submit that electronically. We also will have we're going to be working with Dick's Fresh Market to put them in some of the grocery sacks, trying to get those out to more people as well. And then finally, we're going to have a few copies here at City Hall and the library that'll be available if you want to do paper copies. So we're trying to get this out to as many people as possible in an effort to get a good response, to get a good sense of why people live here, why they moved here, why they stay here, and what they think of the community. And it's going to have another effect as well, as it's going to give us a sense of what people think, because there's a question on there to ask any other things, kind of a general, anything else you want to tell us. And so it's an interesting survey. It should be well received by the public, not very long, doesn't take long to fill out, and we appreciate your help in this. And so you'll have about 3 weeks to fill it out and turn it in. After that, we're going to start analyzing the results and start the process of doing the logo, coming up with some designs and things. One other thing, and this was talked about in our first meeting with the committee, is that the motto or tagline that the city has, Amery City of Lakes, it was overwhelmingly decided that should be continued. So as we come up with a new logo and something different, the City of Lakes kind of theme will always be there. It may have a little bit added onto it, but that part is going to stay. So if that's something you feel strongly about, that isn't going anywhere. Number 4, if you remember on the newsletter that just came out, quarterly newsletter, there was a little article about the Facebook page. And some of you must have read that because now we have 85 people who like the city of Amery and appreciate that. And people are being positive contributors to that. And we're trying to put as much positive things in there and put information that's vital to you as a resident. If everybody remembers, we tried. We did this for about 6 months, and then Larry got a new camera. We did live broadcast the council meetings on the web, and the website we use still exists, Ustream. We use Ustream to do that. There was a compatibility issue with the camera and Fran's computer there, and so we're gonna try that again. We've got a device, and we're gonna try to test it out. And so in the next couple of months, we're gonna try to do it again. As another segue to that, we've started to load some videos on YouTube, and the recent public hearing we had on Hillcrest sidewalks, that was the first one we loaded up there, and that is on YouTube. And there will be videos that'll be on the website, and also bigger ones or larger ones that'll be on YouTube. We're gonna have a section on the city website in the government section for videos. Different things, and we may even take some other videos, do some short interviews and things like that with some of the staff and whatnot, department heads and council members, and put some new things on the website there to try to connect with some of our citizens who have a more mobile lifestyle, who use iPads and Kindles and Android phones and different things like that, how you access your information. So we're trying to connect with you in the way you use, technology, and we're trying to do that as well. And if anybody who is watching and is connected to the Facebook, remember that we posted that the last planning commission meeting, the planner wasn't here. The planner came via using the iPad and watched the person from the restaurant do their presentation via the iPad, which worked pretty good. A little different, because I think we could ask him questions and we just kind of turn the tablet around. So we're learning how we do that, and we may have more of that. So at some time in the future, you may see us use Skype in order to have somebody come in. It's a way for the city to get those experts that we work with, and also to save us a little money on having them travel here, because they may not always need to be here in person. So the city's going to try some technology things. So if we fumble a little bit, you can laugh, because we'll probably laugh at the same time. So that's all I have.
Any questions for Darcy? Thank you. Here we can go to committee reports, Public Works, Kay?
We'll probably be starting to do committee reports from home. In the near future, I'm sure. Okay, Public Work met on January 8th. We had a couple of things on the agenda. The Women's Club, who is heading up the recycling in Amery, has been working with Parks and Rec, but we decided they belonged, actually Dave decided that they belonged with Public Works. So we met with some women from the Women's Club, and they were going to do some more investigating with area businesses in town about recycling, and they're going to report back to us at our meeting in March. Then we talked about the radio read meter project, and I think I told you about that at the January meeting, and we are still on record as encouraging the council to go ahead with that project. Then we talked about the Hill Street sidewalk, and we had a public hearing on January 31st, a very cold night, and there were a lot of people here for that, so that was good to hear from the public. And the article in the Free Press pretty much covered everything that went on that, so that was very good.
That was pretty good that he wasn't here and he could do such a
And
good
you could
article.
do that. Were we
Amazing.
were we on Skype then?
No.
It was just amazing, so.
Got it on his iPad.
And the last thing, we have a well abandonment ordinance that we recommend the council approve that as required by the DNR. And that was all that we had on our agenda.
Thank you, Kay. Any questions for Kay? for Public Works.
I have a question, Kay. As it applies to the Women's Club in this recycling, the city of Amery already does extensive recycling, and it almost appears as if the Women's Club think we do nothing here. Waterman Sanitation, at no cost to the city, has been recycling pickup twice a month for every city resident. Some places in the county don't even have that service. We get it done at no charge. We recycle there. We have recycling bins throughout the city. And it almost appears as if they're trying to compete with an organization that already does it for free.
The issue, Dick, is that
Rick.
the issue is that they don't pick, that anything commercial is not picked up for free. And we're looking, the residential is a issue of informing the public of the requirements and encouraging them to recycle, but the commercial entities are not all in confirmation with that particular law, and so that's the ones that the Women's Club are working on, and with varying degrees of success. They also we've approved, and we're going to have recycling containers in the various parks that we have, and those are being provided by the Women's Club. And we've just basically decided what kind, and so that they match the containers that we have. So you're right, Waterman's does pick up residential twice a month, but they do not pick up commercial for free, or nor would we expect them to.
No.
No, and the commercial people don't expect it. Almost every one of the businesses that participate do pay for it. There's a couple instances where there's no availability or no place to even put the recyclables, but the businesses.
We're working on that.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think it almost appears as if the Women's Club would like to see a business like Waterman's do some of their work at no cost too, and they already do our recycling at no cost to us. And I don't want to see the city rubbish bills go up because of something else you want to impose upon Waterman Sanitation, for example.
I don't think there's been any intent to impose anything on Waterman Sanitation. Just for the public that may not know, Waterman's only recycles cardboard. Anything else, plastics, cans, glass, all gets picked up in their truck and is transported directly to Polk County. So that
And they pay for it. They transport it to Polk County and they pay for the transportation costs.
from the residential, but not from the commercial.
The commercial, they pass that on.
Right.
Yeah. Now, I was at that Public Works meeting, and my impression is that the women from the Women's Club that were there were basically looking at how they could further expand the work that the city's already been doing in conjunction with Waterman. I don't think it was any negative at all whatsoever.
Competition thing at all.
Okay.
And we, you know, Bones and I have had several meetings with the Women's Club, and I understand what they're trying to accomplish a little bit. And I'm also trying to help them understand how that business works a little bit. Being that I've worked in a city where we ran the landfill, picked up the garbage, and started a recycling program, it's a complicated process a little bit. And we're going to be meeting with Women's Club and Waterman so that everybody understands what's kind of going on there. Mike is correct that they're trying to expand recycling and get more people to participate. And my understanding, and I haven't talked to Waterman's yet, but it seems like there has been more people aware of recycling and taking advantage of it than they have in the past. It's difficult to kind of track. If you were to go around the days that people are supposed to put the recycling out, just because they don't put containers out doesn't mean they don't recycle. In some cases, they may say, I don't want to wait for Waterman's, and so they use the bins that are provided by Polk County Recycling over in the parking lot of the Cattail Trail. And because maybe they recycle a lot, you know? I can't always wait for them to come and take the cardboard away, so I end up having to take it over there, or excess, bottles and things like that, because there's no room to keep in the house. So there are some people who have and I understand that they think when Waterman's takes the garbage out there, that they sort the trash and take the recyclables out. If you believe that, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but they do not sort the garbage and take out the recyclables, because they're contaminated from the garbage. Some of what the Women's Club wants to do is just to try to get recycling awareness where it's not. And as Rick said, they're trying to do some in the parks, and I'm all for that, because it seems that, at the beach and North Park and at the boat landing, it seemed that they can throw it on the ground. They didn't put it in the garbage can, they just throw it on the ground. So we got a real task there to try to get them to put it in a container versus just throwing it on the ground. So I don't think they have any intention, because they don't have money to start a recycling program on their own. I've more than once have told them that we're very pleased with what Waterman's does. And in no way do we want to try to jeopardize that, because they do a very good job, and they do way above and beyond any garbage service provider. I mean, they pick up our Christmas trees and leaves. They leave that twice a year, Bones, in the spring and in the fall, and they take them out to our
Leaves.
Yeah, leaves.
Leaves twice a year,
Yep.
Christmas trees once.
Christmas tree once a year. Yeah.
We
So
only
they-
have Christmas trees out once a year? Is that-
Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And so they provide some service that no other hauler would. So I think we've got a,
And I think the ladies
Yeah.
from the Women's Club are very energetic and enthusiastic, and are willing to put in the time and effort and do their legwork to find out what they can do. But I think it's really, my impression is they want to build upon what we're already doing in the community. Any other questions for Public Works? Okay, Finance, Rick Davis.
Finance Committee met last night, February 5th. We had several things on our agenda. Some of them were in closed session. One item was the West Campus Condo Association recently met, and they approved their budget, which results in a reduction in our annual assessments that we're going to be paying for both the library and the police department. So that's happy news that we didn't know about when we did our budget. The other item that we're not going to take any action on tonight, we're in the process of doing the research to find the best way to provide a service to the fire department, as we are starting to look at their original retirement agreement, which hasn't been really a true retirement fund. It's been kind of a system that they put money aside and then paid it out when the firefighters would retire. Didn't earn much money, so the money that was put into the fund really just didn't grow at all. The state does have a program that matches funds per firefighter and looks at cost of living. It doesn't take that long to vest, 10 years. So we're going to look at, Darcy and Daryl are going to be working on that to see if we can't implement that with the fire department in the very near future.
because you can only join once a year. That was
Once a year.
That was the thing. Yeah, that was the difficulty with mid-year trying to get in there.
So that's what we're in process of looking at. Chief is also going to look at the possibility of purchasing some new software that would track fire responses. It's not a real expensive item, and I think we have adequate money in the fire department budget to implement that if we so choose. And I think, I'm hoping we do choose to do that. Our other, Bones talked about the refrigerator and that at the Centennial Hall, and that's already been fixed, or it's in the process of being fixed. But I guess our biggest item on the agenda that we'll discuss, it's on the agenda later this evening to vote on, came out of the Public Works, is the radio read meter project. Our water meters in the city are antiquated, and we are not able to replace them if they cease working. Some of the water meters, particularly some of the larger ones at the various businesses, don't function at all, so we're not even able to track actual water usage, and we're losing revenues that's being passed on to the other residents. So we're going to, if we approve this project tonight, we're going to move forward with replacing the old meters with meters that can be read with a radio. And the meters are also new. We'll be able to track the water usage precisely. Our savings, maybe Darcy can talk about our annual savings, but the long and short of this project is with our water savings, it should almost be a break even for the water users within the city. We're going to finance it. Is it 10 years?
10 years.
10
Yep.
years.
Mhm.
10-year. It's a 10-year payback. Our out-of-pocket outlay for the loan payments should equal what we're paying to repair the old meters right now, service them. So our finance committee is going to, we are recommending unanimously that the city council proceed forward with that project. Everything else was pretty much closed session work, and that will be talked about in closed session this evening. That's it.
Any questions for finance? Planning Commission. Darcy, you want to talk about the Planning Commission meeting?
Yeah, that was, well, there was an article in the paper, I think last week, about the new restaurant, the Amery Family Restaurant. They presented, and I'm not going to try to say their name, but they presented what their proposal is and what they plan to do with the old Hardee's. I will say that I was very pleased that what they are planning to do totally changes the look of it. What happens a lot of times with these old fast food places is that people come in and they can get them at whatever, fairly a lot cheaper because they have one use. They convert them and they turn them into Subways and things like that. And then when people go there, I went to the old, whatever it was, McDonald's or Hardee's or whatever, and this is going to be a total change in the building. It's going to look very nice. One of the things that they talked about in their site plan and what their plans to do is that on the wall where the ballroom used to be and in there where they had a play area at one time, that wall, they're going to do some changes there, and they're going to have a fireplace in there, a gas fireplace. So it's going to be a very nice look inside, and it's going to be very much updated. And I think they were going to seat about 95 people. They'll have seating for 95. So one thing that they did talk about is that they plan to try to be at the earliest they want to be open May 15th, and at the latest they have to be open by the 20th. So they have quite a bit of work to do. The Planning Commission approved that with a couple contingencies or waivers. They met most of the requirements of the facade guidelines. They were like 2% off on the windows, and it's an existing building, so they gave them a waiver for that. On their proposed, and you'll see in the drawings that were in the free press, that they had the height of their awnings was a little low, but it still met most of the requirements, and so they gave them a waiver for that. And then one contingency in there that was, is that when they go to use the old sign post that's there, that they'll have to get a new building permit and zoning permit and get that reviewed at that time. Other than that, I think that was pretty much the gist of the project.
And they're going to be open sometime middle of May.
Middle of May, yeah.
And according to the minutes, it looks like they're going to be employing somewhere between 15 and 20
Yeah, quite a few.
workers.
And they're going to be open a little later. I think they're going to try to be open 9, 10 o'clock at night. So, he even said that they're going to move here. So that's kind of exciting. They're going to move here and become part of the community. And their family owns about 20 restaurants, I think he told us, so, in the region. So it's going to be nice to have some people moving here and becoming part of the community and reusing a empty building. So.
Any other questions from the Planning Commission? Okay, Library Board, Jack.
Library Board met on Monday, the 4th of February. We don't have a lot of things that we're dealing with at the moment. Things seem to be operating very well at the library, which we're happy about. The few things that we do have, we had some issues with regards to some theft at the library of movies and DVDs. So we're going to be doing some rearranging of the space. The DVD collection will be moved out in front of the desk where some of the computers are currently now, so that we can have a better view of that section. And we are going to be beginning a comprehensive review of our bylaws and policies. That hasn't really been done since 2002. And I think that's about it. So,
Thank you. Any questions for Jack? I think that's all the committee reports. We'll move on to new business, and the first item under new business is from the Public Works Committee, the radio read meter project.
Let me give kind of go through the.
Yeah, I'll just, this is an issue that a lot of work was done at Public Works in evaluating the project, and then it was reviewed last night, as Rick said, by the Finance Committee to look at it from a financial standpoint. So almost everyone on the council has touched this project in some way. So, so with that, go ahead if you want to kind of cover it.
Yeah. If people are from, people probably don't look at their water meter in their house and don't care, as long as it works, as long as when they turn the water on, the water comes out. But your water meter that you have in your home now has a, we call a register, or you can call it a dial. It does kind of a dial. And it reads, when you turn the water on, it reads the flow. And then there's a wire hooked to that current meter, and then it goes outside to another dial. And what happens and how that dial on the outside of your home moves is by a pulse comes up and generates that thing and makes it move. We call it a remote generator. That, well, even 5 years ago, they were starting to phase these out, that type of system. And as you're all familiar, your gas meter and your electric meter all are read by a person that most drive around. Some may have to get a little closer because the radio signal may be blocked by some reason. But your electric and gas companies both read using a radio read remote handheld device to read the meter. And so that's basically the project. Next month, I'm hoping that I can get one of those meters so I can show the public a little bit about what those meters look like. But they have an antenna on them. Gets installed the same way that the other meters are. Doesn't take up any more room. The total cost of that project is just for the meters and the handheld is $301,510.39. That's just for the equipment. And that includes some software that gets installed here at City Hall. We are choosing, and we've had a lot of discussion about this at Public Works, is to hire a company to come in and do the installations. Now this company has worked with local communities, Clear Lake, Siren, and some other communities around here, and installed the meters, and are professionals, and will have credentials and whatnot. And so we're choosing to do that, and that's another $73,400. $740, sorry. And then we have some money budgeted in here for any overtime that would be required by staff and for data entry and whatnot on a part of it. And that's $5,000. And so we have a total of $380,250.39 is what the total project costs. By the city having some money that we've put away in a capital fund, we're going to reduce that whole project, and by being able to sell some of the meters that are currently in stock, there's a company that we work with that is going to purchase some of that equipment, because there are some communities that are trying to limp along, and so they're going to buy some of our old stuff. It's fine, they can have it, and we're not going to use it. And by doing that and doing just replacing the register, we have some brand new meters that are in service, and so it is easier and cheaper to these larger meters that work fine, that are only a couple of years old, to change the head on it and put a radio read. And so we're retrofitting them. And that we expect that'll save another $5,000. And so that would reduce the cost of the project by $113,000. And so the total project cost that we're financing is $267,250.39. Couldn't find a way to get rid of the 39 cents, so it keeps moving along.
Wait a second, let me reach in my pocket.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, good donation. You want a receipt? And as Rick had mentioned, one of the objectives was to try and do this project without raising rates. And I think we've accomplished that. It's a pretty admirable project to be doing that. And we kind of have a tentative schedule that we've set up. Since we currently do meter reading quarterly, we're going to try to be at the end of the next quarter so that we start the cycle at the beginning. So we can get that done without any interruption in service or confusion there. The other thing that's going to happen is that currently we read in cubic feet. If you look at your bill, it says cubic feet. And probably most of you don't have any idea how much cubic feet of water that is. Cubic feet normally are used, in a community that they will bill in cubic feet if they have a reservoir, because they have to go out there and know how high the reservoir is, and that tells them how much water's in there. We pull out of wells, so converting to gallons is a pretty easy thing, and so that's when we switch over, all the meters will read in gallons. So when you get your bill, it'll say gallons. And people understand gallons. They don't understand cubic feet. So that's one nice thing about this. The other part is that as this whole process moves along, we are going to look at and investigate the idea of maybe going to monthly billing. Now, what does that do for us? What does that do for the customer? What that does for the residents here in town, if we decide to do that, a lot of people, they pay most of their bills come monthly, except for that city one for the water and sewer and garbage. It comes quarterly, and it's big. And we do have some people who tend to pay their bill on a monthly. They pay a little bit at a time. But there's some logistics to figure out there. So once we get the system up and running, we're going to be doing a little bit of surveying here in the next. We're going to put together probably a 10-question utility survey, and we're going to get that out to people to kind of see what you think of the idea of going to monthly billing. I know I've had conversations before with some older residents, and they asked me, why don't we do monthly billing? Because it'd be easier for them, and some of them on a fixed income. And I think that is one positive thing to try to do there. And a conversation I had with another community nearby, after they put the system in, they were looking at monthly billing as well. So, and what will that do, efficiency-wise? It'll take less time for us to do the billing. It'll take less people. My understanding from the company is that one of our public works employees could read the entire city in 45 minutes. Bones, how long does it take to read meters now without rereads? A week. Go from a week to 45 minutes. And then normally it takes Linda about a couple days to do manual entry into everything. It'll take probably less than a minute to put the handheld in and transfer the data. So there's going to be some efficiencies there that may allow us to do the monthly billing. Another piece that's very important, and we're not able to do that because we do it manually, is let's say you have an issue with your water bill, and you come in, you talk to City Hall. Well, I could never use that much water. With the new meters and with the software that attaches to our software that we use for utility billing, Linda would be able to print out a graph that shows you exactly how much you used. And if you want to know, she can probably tell you every hour how much you use. And so that's going to be a nice thing to help residents who to track, maybe learn a little bit about if they have a problem, to see how to solve that. And maybe even show them that they have a leak. One other thing, and this is the final thing, and then we're going to figure out how we would incorporate this and how we get some of these. The company that we've chosen, Badger Meter, we've already been using their product for a long time with the remote generators. They have a device that that customers can get. They have to pay a fee because the PSC requires us to have charge a fee to use this, but there's a device you could put on your refrigerator. So this little device with like a little dial, and I've never really seen one, but they told us about it, that you can put on your refrigerator if you suspect you have a leak or if you just want to go out every time you get out of the shower and see how much water you used. And that will read off your meter. So what that would do is that would, that device would allow you to find out if, nobody's here, I'm by myself, why is there water running, to try to figure out if you have a leak. It's also for people who, I don't know, want to see how much water they use and try to figure that out. So that'll be an additional service that will come out of this upgrade. And we have a tentative schedule put together, and we're trying to have this whole thing up and running and installed in every business and home by July of this year.
So the intent would be the beginning of the next quarter, which would be April 1st?
Maybe a little bit later, yeah, but close to that.
From a resident standpoint, if someone's coming to my house to replace my meter, how long would we anticipate it's going to take for them to remove the existing one and put in a new one? Any idea?
Well, first of all, we're going to send you a notice. You're going to get a notice, you're going to get scheduled. So you're going to work with our installer to schedule it. It all varies where your meter's at, I think, a little bit. But just if it's in a normal spot in the basement or something, how long, Bones?
Most people have already seen us do this in their homes. It'll take about the same amount of time as it always has in the past. Most of them are about 15 minutes.
Mhm.
You go down, pull the old meter out, put the new meter in. With these new meters, there's no wiring involved. The other systems, we had to disconnect the wire, reattach it, and then go outside and change the outside reader if that was part of the process. So 15 minutes, a half hour tops, providing there's no issues with their plumbing. If there is issues with their plumbing, if it's my staff doing it or this company that is going to assist us, they'll let the homeowner know that there are some issues. I don't believe they are actual plumbers, and they probably won't be doing any plumbing in your home, but
This company is, they have licensed plumbers.
they'll let you know what needs to be done.
But from a resident standpoint, what we're saying is that everything will be scheduled, people will know when to expect someone, it won't be just a random call in the middle of the afternoon, I'm here to change your meter.
If it's my staff, there are some places, and the same way we did in the past, if their meter was up for testing, we generally wouldn't knock on the doors that is convenient for us to come in and leave. So there may be some of that, but for the most part, there'll be probably appointments set up.
Okay.
So that they will know. But like I said, we're going to try to save some money by doing some of it ourselves. So we may do some door knocking and say, is it all right if you come in and swap out your meter? Take us 10 or 15 minutes and we'll be out of your way.
Okay. Any questions for Darcy or for any of the members of the Finance Committee or Public Works on the proposal? So I need a motion to authorize to move forward with the installation of the radio read meters at a projected total cost of $380,250. I'm going to leave the 39 cents off there. With the net cost to be financed at $267,250. Is there a motion to that effect?
So move.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Jack, any further discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. And I would like to thank Public Works and Finance and Bones and his staff for all the work that you guys did in researching this and coming up with this recommendation. Nice job. Okay, next item, I believe, is operator's license. And we have some,
Yes, you should have some in your packets. Tonight, we have applications from Amy Bursaw, who's going to be working at Freedom, Wanda Gale at Holiday, Sarah Martinson at the TAC 2, and Amber Jewell at Holiday. And these have all had the background checks done and passed by the Chief of Police, and they've all met the educational requirements, so I would recommend to go ahead and issue.
okay, so is there a motion to approve the 4 applications?
I so move.
Dave, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any questions, comments? All in favor say aye. Opposed? The motion passes. And I gotta get to my agenda here.
You have an old model, that's why it's
Yeah, I
slow.
can tell. Okay, with that, we are going to request a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.851C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, performance evaluation data of any public employee over which this governing body has jurisdiction. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Rick Van Barkum, is there a second?
Second.
Dave Myers, this is a roll call vote?
Yes, it is. It would be Myers,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Kruschak.
Yep.
Strobel.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
And Van Blarkum.
Right
Yes.
that time.
We are going to go in closed session, and we will be reconvening after closed session to take action. We're in closed session. Open session.
Not like me, I could come on.
Back in open session, and I am going to ask for a motion to approve a salary increase for Police Chief Tom Marson, raising his salary to $74,000. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Chris, is there a second?
Second.
Jack, any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The reason we're taking these actions is basically we've had some salaried employees that have been getting comp time, and we have decided to eliminate comp time for all of our salaried exempt employees, and we're trying to address those people that had a significant amount of comp time accumulated. So the other person that we are going to be taking action on is Alan McCarthy, and the proposal or the motion that I'm seeking is that we would implement an increase for Bones that would compensate him for the comp time that he has accumulated over the last number of years. This would require him to receive a bonus of $6,000 a year for each of the next 5 years, and that the city would be paying his contribution into his HSA and his health insurance up to $265 per pay period for each pay period over the next 5 years. And is there a motion to that effect?
I so move.
Dave Myers, is there a second?
Second.
Rick? Any questions, comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. That is all we have to,
Move to adjourn.
Kay, is there a second?
Oh, man.
Second.
Rick? We are adjourned.
March meeting.